Hello all Inderes TV listeners and viewers. Oriola reported their Q4 this morning and we have CEO Katarina Gabrielson for interview as usual. Hi Katarina.
Hi Rauli.
So let's start with actually some news you announced already late last year. You announced an organizational change, so can you explain a bit about what are you doing there and why?
Last year we have done announcing about the organization change, but also of course the year before, in end of 2023, we announced about the new strategy. And to go with this now operational change is very much connected to the strategy, because we want to have more commercial focus in the management team, to also get closer to the customer, enhance this customer centricity and so on. And therefore we have then appointed Satu Nylén as heading down the business unit product and services, and Katja Lundell to heading down advisory services. And we have also now yesterday announced that we have done a new sales, EVP sales, who is then Stig Tornell. And of course we have also a new supply chain manager. So there's quite many changes, but it's to be able to then continue to build on the strategy implementation.
Indeed. And like you mentioned, you are now raising the head of advisory to the even kind of management board level. Advisory is still quite small business, and I believe maybe a bit unknown also for the investors. So should we read something into that it's now kind of raised from the organization?
It's an important part of the wholesale overall, and of course it's like if you look at the wholesale business, it's advisory business, and then it's the products portfolio where we have the traded goods and over-the-counter products and some other parts. Advisory business is a business that is close connected to what we do overall. So it's very close connected to the pharmaceutical companies, and it's also covers the whole lifespan of a pharmaceutical company. It's very much data driven, and it's also then building on other parts than of course moving a box. So it's data driven and also tech driven, and in that one we can also take AI, and we see that this is a huge opportunity that we have for the future. Still small, but to be built on.
Exactly, and you are putting clearly some emphasis on it now.
Yes.
And on that note, you actually made an acquisition now in January, a small one, but still on the advisory side. So can you talk a bit about that?
Yes, it's in the same one. We bought an MedInfo in Denmark, and then MedInfo have been a sub-supplier to Oriola for quite a while. It's supporting mainly then us in Norway and Denmark, and this is to widen really like our opportunity in the whole 4 Nordic countries, because we need both medical information and patient support, and that is then now making this portfolio stronger in this aspect.
And is this something you would like to continue or try to seek the acquisitions in the advisory space?
Let's see what's coming up, because of course it should be something that is like making our portfolio stronger and also then coming closer to the customers. But we have no decisions on something, but let's see.
Okay. Well, then into Q4, what kind of quarter was it for you?
I would say it was a quite stable quarter. We had like, of course, some, like we also said in presentations, some ups and downs. November was slower when it comes to volume, and then we have a lot of volumes in December. But unfortunately, that was also driving some costs. Since we know that, all of us know that we have a Christmas, and Christmas this last year was like during working days. And that is costly then. But overall it was a stable quarter with a good progress, and I can see especially some important channels in especially wholesale side was really like doing a good job, and also of course distribution. You
reported on the numbers, quite nice improvement, but actually that was pretty much driven by the Swedish dose business, which is on its way out. So how about the underlying business, especially distribution?
Distribution is good in profitability also in Q4. If you look at the numbers, there is some technical part in this one. So we have in the Q4 23 we have a positive effect that is then of course affecting the figures then in 2024. Otherwise, without that, we should have been positive also in Q4.
Okay, great. Then about the JV or your pharmacy JV Kronans in Sweden that went back into the red figures now in Q4. So can you comment on what was behind that?
Yeah, it's especially the more integration costs, and especially then the ERP projects.
Okay. But the previous quarter was still positive, so has there been some change here?
There has been some. No, I will say for the future, of course, we are expecting that it should be going back to to positive figures.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Then on the dividend, you are proposing, or the board is proposing a stable dividend. Your policy is to pay an increasing dividend. Of course, also your balance sheet is maybe a bit on the weak side. So can you explain a bit how this has been rationale?
Of course. If you look at the policy, of course, we are not following the policy this time or guidance. But you can also say that we have a good cash flow, and the net working capital is supporting this payout. When we look, of course, for the future, we are also then guiding on EBITDA instead of adjusted EBIT. But it's also that when we look at the business, we will have a lot of adjusting items for the future. So let's see how that is then affecting our guidance in that one.
Okay. And then on the outlook, like you mentioned, you are changing the guidance from adjusted EBITDA. What was the reason for that?
No, it's to be possible for us to make it more transparent for you also to understand the business, because what I also said is that we have the big ERP project coming. 10% will be then investments, and 90% will be adjusting items. So it's a lot of money that will come on adjusting items. So we have done choosing to go on EBITDA, and that's also like quite common for more and more companies to do that. But to be more transparent on the underlying business.
And just to be kind of clear on that change, is there any major changes in the depreciation levels expected?
No, not as I see at this point. Of course, we're not guiding on that one. But the biggest project that we have is the ERP project right now.
Exactly. But basically, the adjusted EBITDA change should be pretty similar to your old guidance of adjusted EBIT. And you're guiding for improvement for this year. So what's the main driver?
When we look at the market, you can see that we have the positive effect of growing market and so on, and we will expecting that to continue. And also then that the strategy part that we are doing here will then continue to give an effect. And of course, advisory, when we have done this kind of both putting advisory in the management team and also done some small acquisition to see that growing.
And then finally on Kronans, you now mentioned that you are expecting to reach a industry benchmark profitability in 27. I guess that's now a bit of a delay from the 26 full synergy potential you commented earlier. But just to understand that industry benchmark, does that mean like the 2 biggest pharmacy levels or something else? Or?
I will say the 2 biggest pharmacy. Of course, we're also looking at the other ones, of course. But if you look in Sweden, we are not comparing Kronans with pure e-commerce players because that's a different animal. So more in the lines of Apteekkit and Hjärtat. Okay, that's clear. Thank you very much, Katarina, and good luck for the year. Thank you.